Hi first grade families, my name is Miss Arenzi and I am so excited to start this year with you. I'm going to go over a little bit of information for this school year, and if you have questions please take some time to write them down and I'll be sure to answer them when I see you on Sunday. So first I'll start off by saying it's such a privilege for me to serve here at BCS. I actually have always wanted to be a teacher, and so for college I went to UC Irvine and I studied Spanish with a minor in education, and then I also continued with my multiple subject teaching credential and my master's degree in teaching. And right after finishing school I was hired here at BCS. Initially I was hired as a fourth grade teacher and I did that for 4 years, and then there was an opportunity to switch to first grade, and I've been in first grade ever since then. And this is actually my 12th year here at BCS, so I am so excited. I love working with children and families, and I look forward to partnering with you this year. So I'm going to go over a little bit of information. Some of this has already been emailed to you, but I'll just go over a few details, and then if you have questions, write those down and I'll answer those on Sunday. So let's start going over a couple of things. First of all, when you come here on Sunday, you'll be picking up materials both for your child's classwork but also for you as a parent. So you'll receive this parent packet as well, and that's some of the information I'll go over right now. First of all, if you could, because you know your child best, I've included this Getting to Know Your Child page. If you could, fill that out so I get to know your child a bit as well. And then when it's our first drop-off and pickup after the first week of school, if you could have this filled out and return to me so I can also get to know your child better. Now there are a lot of things here I've already emailed to you, and so this packet here is information about some of our offerings for this learning time now. That's going to be a little bit different than usually our in-person learning. So I have information here about our school day with our Zoom calls, connecting through our different kinds of afternoon sessions. You can use Class Dojo as a way to connect with me, and then also see some possibilities for student work might get turned in that way as well. And then the pickup and drop-off procedures. There's an on-site schedule here for how you can be part of our afternoon sessions, and then instructions on some of the login for that using VisiBook, for example. So all of this has already been emailed to you, but I've included it here as well for you to reference. Now for school, our learning will take place with 2 live instruction Zoom calls. We'll have one at 9 o'clock and one at 10:30, and we'll start those promptly so that we're really able to use every minute of instruction time. So maybe before Monday, our first day of school, take some time to familiarize both yourself and your child with Zoom so that you feel really comfortable using that. I've included here a page that helps your child see how to use Zoom really and treat it as a classroom. So there are some guidelines here where you should have maybe a learning spot where your child knows this is the place where we go for school each day. So we have a spot where there's a flat working surface so that they're able to complete their work as we're working on it together, and that they have all their materials right next to them. So they'll have their work packets and they'll have their pencil box, all their tools and materials that they need so they can feel successful as they're working. And then additionally on the back, make sure you familiarize yourself with these different symbols that are part of a Zoom call. When you join a Zoom call, please join with the audio. That way, in case your child does have a question, they are able to unmute themselves and I can hear them. If you don't join with the audio, even if they unmute themselves, I will not be able to hear them. So that's one key thing. Make sure that you join with audio. That way, if they have a question, I'm able to hear them. Most of instruction will take place with your child being muted though, so that we're not hearing background sounds from other families. So making sure you're familiar with the mute and unmute buttons. Please have your camera on so I can see their faces. And then at the end of a Zoom call, I will be able to record that whole session and I'll post that onto our Class Dojo so that when you are able to view it, if you're not able to view live with us, you'll be able to still have access to that instruction and complete it on your own time schedule. Additionally, as we're working, I'll also have a little check-in with them. So I'll be asking them maybe thumbs up if you are doing okay and finish that page, maybe thumbs down if you're not doing okay or if you need some help. So this you can go over with your child to help help them to also be familiar with what our Zoom is going to be like. Most of our work will be completed during the Zoom call, but if there's still a little bit of work, there might be maybe up to 15 or 20 minutes of independent work that your child might need to complete after the Zoom call is over, but hopefully it shouldn't extend much beyond that. Okay, so we really are going to try and use our instruction time on a Zoom call for completing the work as much as possible together. Another thing that you'll see is this morning work packet. So maybe if we know that our Zoom call starts at 9 o'clock, I would suggest around 8:45. Go ahead and start getting ready for that day. So make sure you have your device ready to connect on Zoom. Make sure you have the schoolwork out and ready to go. And then your child can even start off first with the morning work packet. Now the morning work packet is great review information, and I will quickly go over instructions on how to complete a page all together once the Zoom call has started. But if your child hasn't completed a page, this would be something they can work on independently after the Zoom call is over. So usually we'll complete about 1 or 2 pages of this every day, and then the whole packet will be completed by the end of the week. So I would recommend starting with the morning work packet, having all your materials ready to go. That way when 9 o'clock starts, we're ready to start our day. Okay, I do want to highlight the Class Dojo. So I'm actually new to using Class Dojo this school year. So if you've used it before, that's fantastic. I'll be learning though. So that's a place that we can connect by sending messages. You'll also be able to see your students' behavior, like their behavior points, participation points that are awarded or taken away. So you'll be able to check on that. As well, all the Zoom links for all the videos that are created each day will be put up onto our Class Dojo, and you'll be able to access them there. And our lesson plans will also be there, and if you just need to contact me and there's any kind of question, that's a quick way to do so. Okay, a few other things that I want to highlight would be for building community in our classroom. So this page here is for the king or queen of the jungle. So each week I'll select 2 students to be the king or queen of the jungle for that week. And I'll send this home in the envelope, and then you'll be able to decorate this and fill in all this information, and then your child will have a chance to share this with the whole class. And it's a way for us to get to know each other a little bit better. As you already know, we'll be doing a pick-up and drop-off system. So you'll receive an envelope here. It'll be sitting on the child's desk, and then you'll pick up this envelope that has work for the week. At the end of the week, you'll bring this envelope back, and then you'll pick up another envelope that's ready to go and packed for the new week. Let me show you what's inside this envelope in just a moment. Our envelope drop-off will take place here in the first grade classroom, which is room 106. Quick way that I remember that is that most of your children are either turning 6 or already 6 years old, so room 106 is for first grade. So you'll find this envelope, and inside is the work packet for the week, but each part of it has been organized to kind of help you know what the work is. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so you'll end up finding several different packets, but they're all color-coded and labeled to let you know what subject area it is. Now my distance learning schedule, I've actually updated it so that it has the same color coding for the subjects as you see here on this half page, to kind of help you and your child as well to understand what the different work packets are. Please understand though, during this first probably 2 weeks of school, some of those scheduled time slots for the different subjects might be taught on a slightly different day than I originally put there. That schedule is a good framework, but I think for the first 2 weeks I might need to make some adjustments. So if you would just have all materials close by, because I might make a few changes to what days we do certain subject areas. I'm figuring out pacing, so please just be flexible with me as I'm figuring out what works best. I want to make your child feel successful and not feel overwhelmed. Okay, so this is all the material that you'll find inside of the envelope. And then at the end of the week, you'll come back here to the school, drop off completed work, and pick up a new envelope. Now there's a lot of information for you parents that I've also included, so I'll briefly go over that. One of those pages here would be about facts. This is where you find information about your school account for billing, but it's also important because this is where you can check your child's lesson plans and grades. So you can kind of see as your child is completing work, how they're doing on that work. So I highly recommend you check out facts and get familiar with that. And a few other pages just related to first grade topics here. There's a guide here for what first grade curriculum includes, so what you can expect for this first grade year. I've also included a packet for ideas as you're helping your child learn how to read. What are some things that you can do as a parent to help them? And then another page here about sight word practice. So things that you can do to help practice the sight words or high frequency words, or as I call them here in first grade, are words to know. And I'll talk about those a little bit more right now. You'll end up with a list of words to know that will be both on our class's weekly newsletter. I'm going to have our weekly memory verse and our words to know, and then a little bit later our spelling words when those begin. All of that information is going to be on our weekly newsletter as well as on facts. But our words to know have a list here of high frequency words. These high frequency words or sight words are words that help us quickly get through a sentence. So it's to help build fluency, but often these words are also the type of words that don't follow our phonics pattern. For example, if you try and sound out the word the, t, eh, you will not blend and get to the word the. So often these words have a tricky spelling pattern or some kind of sound that wouldn't necessarily be expected that way. So it's important to master these words. So at the end of 3 full weeks, you'll have 3 full weeks to study this whole list. And then at the end of 3 weeks is when I will have your child demonstrate their mastery by being able to read this entire list of words. We'll practice them together every morning in our Zoom call, and I also encourage you to have this list posted and visible so your child is regularly practicing and mastering these words. Another really great thing I want to mention to you is each class at our school sponsors a child through Compassion International. And in fact, just a few years ago, I was able to travel to El Salvador and visit Bea and Omar, 2 students that our school sponsored, and I got to meet them personally along with Mrs. Friesen. The 2 of us traveled together, and we were able to see the incredible work that Compassion International does to really change not just the life of the child, but also the entire family and the greater community. So we're asking maybe for you to continue to keep Prince, who lives in the Philippines, keep him and his family in your prayers, especially during this really difficult time. I know Compassion is still continuing, and they're committed to serving families by providing food and basic services to help these families in a really hard time. And then if your child is able to perhaps complete some chores at home and earn maybe $2 a month, or even whatever you're able to provide would be helpful. We're just trying to promote generosity and compassion in our next generation. So if you have any questions, just make sure that you share those with me on Sunday. I'll be more than glad to answer those for you. And Sunday is our pickup day. Make sure that you're here on Sunday between 12 and 4 p.m. in our first grade classroom, which is room 106. And then on Monday, we'll be ready to go for our first day in first grade. See you on Sunday, everyone.